Good morning, students. Say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students. So take your social science book and take page number 61. So today we will discuss about the famous Mauryan Empire. So the famous ancient empire that ruled Indian subcontinent. So the Mauryan Empire ruled India, Pakistan and also Afghanistan. So the vast empire. So very vast empire. So which ruled India. So it was established by Chandragupta Maurya, and the famous king belonged to Mauryan Empire was the great Ashoka. So you heard about great Ashoka. So you will learn about him in this lesson. Okay, and also the Mauryan administrative system. So what type of administrative system? How they ruled the Indian subcontinent. So you will learn in this video. Okay, so what we discussed in last class? We discussed about the Ganasanghas. So Ganasanghas means the clan oligarchies. That means there were two distinct forms of government at the time of Mahavira and Buddha: monarchical kingdom and clan oligarchies. So clan oligarchies means the Ganasanghas. So the Ganasanghas, so that means ruled by a group of oligarchies. So we have discussed that. Then the rise of kingdoms. So during Greek Vedic period, so some of the kingdoms, that is some of the tribal people. So Bharadas, Pasus, Trisus, Turvasas. So they passed into oblivion. That is, they lost their importance, and new dynasties such as Guru and Panjala rose into prominence. In Buddhist text, they mention about 16 Mahajanapadas. Can you list some of the Mahajanapadas? Kasi, Kosla, Anga, Magadha, Panchala, Guru, Surasena, Avanti, Gandhara, etc. Okay, then we discussed about the growth of royal power. So how the king enjoyed the full power. So name the text that mentions about the king as infallible and immune from all punishment. Sadapadi Brahmana. Satapada Brahmana. Then we discussed about the administrative system. Then the rise of Magadha kingdom. So what are the factors that led to the rise of Magadha kingdom? Then we discussed about the king, so Bimbisara. So how he established Magadha as the supreme power. Then he was succeeded by his son Ajatasattu. Then Ajatasattu, so he laid the foundation for new city that was called as Pataligrama, later turned as Pataliputra, which is the capital city of Mauryan Empire. Then we discussed the establishment of Nanda dynasty by Mahabhatmananda. So he was the first non-Kshatriya dynasty to rule in North India. So in the previous class we discussed about the kings. So first Bimbisara, then Ajatasattu, then Sishunaga, then Mahabhatmananda. So we have discussed about them. In today's class we will discuss about the Mauryan Empire. Mauryan king Vishnugupta, who was later known as Chanakya or Kautilya, fell out with Nanda king and vowed to dethrone him. So Vishnugupta, so later he was called as Chanakya or Kautilya. So he vowed to dethrone the last Nanda king. So vowed means promised to do something. So promised to do a specified thing. So Vishnugupta, later known as Chanakya or Kautilya, so had a challenge, so to dethrone, to remove the last king, Nanda king, from throne. So Chandragupta, perhaps inspired by Alexander of Macedonia, was raising an army and looking for opportunity to establish a kingdom of his own. So at this time Chandragupta Maurya, so he was inspired by Alexander the Great from Macedonia. So he was raising an army and he was looking for an opportunity to establish a kingdom of his own. So Vishnugupta, who was called as Chanakya, so fell out with Nanda king and he challenged to dethrone him. So Chanakya challenged to remove Nanda king from throne. At this junction, at this time, Chandragupta Maurya, who was inspired by Alexander of Macedonia, was raising an army and looking for an opportunity to establish his own kingdom. So on hearing the news of Alexander's death, Chandragupta stirred up the people, so motivated the people, encouraged the people, and with the help of the people, he drove away the Greek garrison that Alexander had left at Takshila. So Takshila, now it is in Pakistan. So it is in the north of Pakistan. So Chandragupta Maurya, after hearing the death of Alexander, he stirred up the people, and with the help of the people of Takshila, he drove away the Greek garrison. So garrison means a military camp. So Alexander, after capturing some of the places, what he do means he kept some of his army soldiers in that place and left. So he keep some of his army soldiers in that place, or some of his representatives in that place, and left that place. So since Alexander was now died, Chandragupta Maurya removed the Greek garrison that Alexander had left at Takshila. Then he and his allies marched to Pataliputra and defeated the Nanda king in 321 BC. So Pataliputra, it is in east of India. And Takshila, it was in north of Pakistan. So after removing the Greek garrison at Takshila, Chandragupta Maurya and his allies marched to Pataliputra and defeated the Nanda king in 321 BC. Thus began the reign of the Mauryan dynasty. Thus the Mauryan dynasty began in the year 321 BC. Okay? So during Chandragupta's reign, Seleucus, the general of Alexander, who had control over countries from Asia Minor to India, crossed the Indus, but he was defeated by Chandragupta. So during Chandragupta's reign, so the general of Alexander, Seleucus, so he had control over the countries from Asia Minor to India. So since Chandragupta captured the Greek territory of Takshila, he wanted to defeat Chandragupta Maurya. That means Seleucus wanted to fought with Chandragupta Maurya. So he crossed the Indus, but he was defeated by Chandragupta. So Seleucus NY, so NY means messenger or representative. Seleucus NY Megasthenes is said to have remained in India, and his account titled Indica is a useful record about Mauryan polity and society. So Seleucus was defeated by Chandragupta Maurya. Seleucus, he was the general of Alexander, who had control over countries from Asia Minor to India. So he controlled a very big empire. But he was defeated by Chandragupta. So Seleucus NY, Seleucus representative Megasthenes, is said to have remained in India, and his account, his book titled Indica, Megasthenes Indica, is a useful record about Mauryan polity and society. So after gaining control over the Gangetic plain, Chandragupta turned his attention to northwest to take advantage of the void. So void means empty space created by Alexander's death. So after gaining control over Gangetic plain. So Chandragupta Maurya, so what he did means, so after removing the Greek garrison at Takshila, he marched towards Pataliputra and defeated the Nanda king and established the Mauryan dynasty. So during Chandragupta's period, Seleucus, the general of Alexander, who had control over countries from Asia Minor to India, crossed Indus, and he was defeated by Chandragupta. So Seleucus NY Megasthenes is said to have remained in India, and his book Indica so gave us detailed information about Mauryan polity and society. So after gaining control over the Gangetic plain, so Chandragupta now turned his attention towards northwest. So that is Pakistan and Afghanistan, to take the advantage of the space created by Alexander's death. So these areas comprising of the present day Afghanistan, Balochistan and Makran, so they surrendered without any resistance. The areas comprising of present day Afghanistan, Balochistan and Makran, they surrendered without any opposition. So thereupon Chandragupta moved to central India. So Chandragupta, after gaining control over the Gangetic plain, he turned his attention towards northwest. So northwest of India means it includes the countries like Afghanistan and Balochistan, they are part of Pakistan, and Makran. They surrendered without any resistance. So now Chandragupta moved his attention towards the central India. According to Jaina tradition, towards the end of his life, Chandragupta, so who had by now become an ardent follower of Jainism, abdicated his throne in favor of his son Bindusara. So Chandragupta now turned his attention towards central India. But as per Jaina tradition, towards the end of his life, Chandragupta gave up his throne to his son Bindusara and became a strong follower of Jainism. So now the Chandragupta Maurya's empire, so it includes Afghanistan, Pakistan, so the whole country of Pakistan, the Gangetic Plain, and northwest of India. Okay, ma? So Chandragupta Maurya, so he was succeeded by his son Bindusara. So Bindusara during his rule succeeded in extending the Mauryan Empire up to Karnataka. So Chandragupta Maurya established his kingdom, so power in Afghanistan, Pakistan, the whole of North India, including the Gangetic Plain. So he captured up to central India. Bindusara during his rule succeeded in extending the Mauryan Empire up to Karnataka. So where is Karnataka? So just above our Tamil Nadu state. So Bindusara during his rule succeeded in extending the Mauryan Empire up to Karnataka. At the time of Bindusara's death, a large part of Indian subcontinent had come under Mauryan power. So at the time of Bindusara's death, a large part of the Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent means it includes India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. So it had come under Mauryan power. Then who succeeded Bindusara? Bindusara was succeeded by his son Ashoka in the year 268 BC. So desirous of bringing the remaining parts of South India into his empire, Ashoka waged a war against Kalinga in the 8th year of his reign. Ashoka succeeded Bindusara in the year 268 BC. So the only left region in the Mauryan Empire was the Kalinga. So that is, it includes the present state of Odisha, and also South India. That means our Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So in order to bring this region under the control, Ashoka declared a war against the Kalinga in the 8th year of his reign. The people of Kalinga fought bravely, but they were defeated after a large-scale slaughter. So the people of Kalinga fought bravely, but they were defeated at the end. So with a large-scale slaughter. So slaughter means killing a large number of people. So this war and slaughter affected Ashoka so much that he decided to give up this war. So this war, the Kalinga war, and the slaughter affected the heart of Ashoka. So he decided to give up the war. So Chandragupta Maurya, he established his empire, Mauryan Empire, and captured the whole of North India, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. His son Bindusara succeeded him, and he extended the Mauryan Empire up to Karnataka. Only the left state were Kalinga and the South India, that is Tamil Nadu and Kerala only left over. So Ashoka, in order to extend his empire, he declared war on Kalinga in the 8th year of his reign. The people of Kalinga fought bravely, but they were defeated at the large scale slaughter. So this war and slaughter affected the heart of Ashoka. So he decided to give up the war. Ashoka became an ardent Buddhist after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta and propounded his dharma. Ashoka, so after the Kalinga war, decided to give up the war. So he became an ardent, strong follower of Buddhism after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta and propounded his dharma. According to him, the only true conquest, so proclaimed, is the conquest of the self and the conquest of men's heart. So according to Ashoka, conquer means not capturing a territory or a place or a region. So the true conquest means the conquest of self. So conquest of self and conquest of men's others' heart by the Dhamma or Dharma. So Dhamma in Pali language, in Dharma in Sanskrit. So you have to conquer yourself or you have to conquer others' heart only by Dhamma or Dharma. He issued edicts which were carved out in the rock. So Ashoka issued edicts so which were carved out in the rock. So after Kalinga war, Ashoka decided to give war. So he wanted to lead a peaceful life. So he became a strong follower of Buddhism after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta. Okay, so there are 33 edicts, including 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and 2 Kalinga edicts. So apart from minor rock edicts and minor pillar inscription. They form the reliable sources to know about the Mauryan Empire, in particular the dharmic rule of Ashoka. So Ashoka, in order to spread the Buddhist philosophy and ideas, issued a lot of edicts so which were carved out in the rock. Yeah. So there are 33 edicts, including 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and 2 Kalinga edicts. Yeah. Apart from minor rock edicts and minor pillar edicts. Okay, they form the reliable sources, so most important sources to know about the Mauryan Empire, in particular the dharmic rule of Ashoka. In one of his Kalinga edict, he tells us his horror and sorrow over the death which the war and conquest caused. Yes, in one of his Kalinga edict, Ashoka tells us his horror and sorrow over the death which the war and conquest caused. In another edict, he make it known that Ashoka would not tolerate any longer the death or captivity of even 100th or 1000th part of the number killed and made captive in Kalinga. Yeah, so in Kalinga's edict, he tells us how the horror and sorrow over the death which the war and conquest caused. Yeah, so that means he tell about the sorrow of the dead people. Yeah, so sorrow of the war. Yeah, so the war result in death only. Yeah, he tell us the sorrow of the war. Yeah, in another edict, he told that Ashoka would not tolerate any other death after this. Yeah, so Ashoka tell in another edict that he won't tolerate any other death. Yeah, so he even protected. So Ashoka's passion for protecting life extended to animal as well. So not only humans. Yeah, so he extended up to protect animals also. Yeah, so hospitals were constructed for animals and animal sacrifice was forbidden. Yeah, so he forbidden. So he prohibited the animal sacrifice. Yeah, Ashoka sent his son Mahendra and his daughter Sangamitra to Ceylon, that is Sri Lanka, to spread his message of Dharma there. Yeah, Ashoka died after ruling for 38 years. Yeah, so Ashoka after Kalinga war, so totally changed. So the Kalinga war totally changed the thought, the mind of Ashoka. Yeah, so the Kalinga in Kalinga edicts, he mentioned how he was deeply affected by the death of the Kalinga war. Yeah. So in another edict, he told that Ashoka would not tolerate death. So would not tolerate any longer the death or captivity of even 100th or 1000th part of the number killed and made captive in Kalinga. Yeah. So that means he would not tolerate even killing or even the captives punished. Okay, so his passion, yeah, so his thought extend for protecting the life of animals also. Yeah, so he constructed hospitals for the animals. Yeah, and he prohibited the sacrifice of animals. Okay, he sent his son Mahendra and his daughter Sangamitra to Ceylon to spread his message of Dharma there. Yeah, Ashoka died after ruling for 38 years. Yeah. So we discussed about 3 kings from Mauryan Empire. Yeah, so Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, then Ashoka. Yeah, so don't confuse Bimbisara, then Bindusara. Yeah, so Bindusara, so he was the Mauryan king, so father of our great Ashoka. Okay, so Mauryan administration. So the Mauryan state in its early years undertook some measures that were positive for the development of society. Yeah, so the Mauryan state, the Mauryan government in its early years undertook some measures that were positive for the development of society. The state raised taxes to finance a huge standing army and a vast bureaucracy. So bureaucracy means government administration. Yeah, so simply we can say government administration. Yeah, government officers. So the state, the government, that is the king, raised taxes to finance so a huge standing army. So because Mauryan Empire includes a vast area of Indian subcontinent, they had to maintain a huge army. Yeah. So in order to maintain a huge standing army, they raised the taxes and also a vast bureaucracy. The Mauryans had evolved a very efficient system of governance. So the Mauryans had evolved a very efficient system of governance. The king was the head of the administration and he was assisted by a council of ministers. Yeah, so the king was the head of the administration and he was assisted by a council of ministers. There were Mahamadriyas who functioned as the secretaries to the ministers. Yeah, so king was assisted by council of ministers and the council of ministers were helped by Mahamadriyas. Yeah, they functioned as the secretaries to the ministers. Yeah, the person in charge of revenue and expenditure was Samaharta. Yeah, so the person in charge of revenue and expenditure was Samaharta. So the empire the Mauryan Empire was divided into 4 provinces, and these provinces were administered by governors who were usually princes or from the royal family. So the Mauryan Empire was divided into 4 provinces, and these provinces were administered by the governors who were usually princes or from the royal family. Actually, it was told Ashoka was also a governor. So during the reign of Bindusara, so during Bindusara's period, Ashoka was appointed as the governor of one such province. So the district was under Stanika, while Gopas were in charge of 5 to 10 villages. So the whole empire was divided into 4 provinces, and in each provinces a governor was appointed. The governor may be from the king family or from the royal family. So the district was under a Stanika, while Gopas were in charge of 5 to 10 villages. The municipal, that is Pataliputra administration, was under a Nagaraka. So the municipal, the Pataliputra city administration was under a Nagaraka. So 6 committees with 5 members each carried on their duties under him. So 6 committees were there with 5 members each. That is 30 members are there. Each committee consists of 5 members. So carried on their duties under him. So they were to take care of the foreigners. So what are the duties for the committees? First, they have to take care of the foreigners. Then they have to register the birth and the death of the citizens. So first census. Then to look after trade and commerce. So they have to look after trade and commerce. Then to supervise different manufacturers. So to supervise, so to look after trade and commerce, then to supervise different manufacturers, then to collect excess duties and custom duties. So excess duties and custom duties. So the type of tax, that means, so if any foreign goods enter into the Mauryan Empire, Mauryan kingdom, means they have to pay tax. And if any good exported to any other foreign kingdom, foreign country, means then they have also to pay the tax. So that is the excess duty and customs duty. Okay, so the empire was divided into 4 provinces, and further it was divided into district. So the district was under Stanika, and the district was further divided as villages. So there were Gopas who were in charge of 5 to 10 villages. The municipal administration was under a Nagaraka. Then apart from that, 6 committees with 5 members each carried on their duties under him. So 6 committees with 5 members. So each committee consists of 5 members. So totally 30 members are there in the committees. Okay, so they worked under Nagaraka. So what was the duty? First, they have to take care of the foreigners. Then to register the birth and death of the citizens. Then to look after the trade and commerce. Then to supervise different manufacturers, so different productions. Then to collect excess duty and custom duty. So like the city or town administration, the military department was also managed by a board of 30 members split into 6 committees with 5 members in each of them. So already we saw the city administration, so the municipal administration, so consists of 6 committees. As like that, the military administration also consists of 6 committees with each 5 members. So totally 30 members. At the village level, there was Gramani, whose responsibility was maintaining the boundaries and keeping the records of land and a census of population and livestock. At village level, there was Gramani. He was responsible for maintaining the boundaries and keeping the records of land and a census of population and livestock. So just imagine, so nearly 2000 years before, Mauryan administration was well one. So they have a clear census. So they have a census about population. So they have clear data about the land. So they have a clear data about the foreigners. So they have a clear data about tax. Okay, in order to keep a vigil, so vigil means awake, so a control over the entire administration, including the conduct of officers, a well-knit spy system was evolved and put in place in order to check the duty of the officers. So a well-knit, a well-developed spy system was evolved and put in practice. Justice was administered through well-established court in all major towns and cities. Punishment for crimes was severe. So just think. So it is similar to now the present administration now. So 2000 years before itself, our Indians, so they were well in administration. So it is not the foreigners, so teach us their method of administration. naturally Indians have good administration. So we can know it from the Mauryan Empire. Okay, ma? Also, the state used the surplus appropriated for the development of the rural economy by founding new settlements. So the state now began to use the surplus, so the enormous amount so got by tax for the development of the rural economy by founding new settlements, granting land, encouraging the people to settle as farmers. So since the state had raised the tax amount, it had now the surplus amount. So it had the amount beyond its limit. So the state initiated the development of rural economy by founding new settlements, granting land, and encouraging the people to settle in the new area as farmers. It also organized irrigation project and controlled the distribution of water. So the state also organized the irrigation project and controlled the distribution of water. There was state control of agriculture, mining, industry, and trade. So the state discouraged the emergence of private property in land and banned its sale. So the state encouraged agriculture, but it discouraged the emergence of private property in land and banned its sale. So the Mauryan state gave further boon to urban development. So apart from the rural economy, Mauryan state gave further encouragement to urban development. It secured land trade routes to Iran, Mesopotamia, as well as to the kingdom of North China. It secured land trade routes to Iran and Mesopotamia, as well as to the kingdom of North China. Ashoka became an ardent Buddhist after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta and propounded his dharma. Ashoka, so after the Kalinga war, decided to give up the war. So he became an ardent, strong follower of Buddhism after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta and propounded his dharma. According to him, the only true conquest, so proclaimed, is the conquest of the self and the conquest of men's heart. So according to Ashoka, conquer means not capturing a territory or a place or a region. So the true conquest means the conquest of self. So conquest of self and conquest of men's others' heart by the Dhamma or Dharma. So Dhamma in Pali language, in Dharma in Sanskrit. So you have to conquer yourself or you have to conquer others' heart only by Dhamma or Dharma. He issued edicts which were carved out in the rock. So Ashoka issued edicts which were carved out in the rock. So after Kalinga war, Ashoka decided to give war. So he wanted to lead a peaceful life. So he became a strong follower of Buddhism after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta. Okay, so there are 33 edicts, including 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts, and 2 Kalinga edicts. So apart from minor rock edicts and minor pillar inscription, they form the reliable sources to know about the Mauryan Empire, in particular the dharmic rule of Ashoka. So Ashoka, in order to spread the Buddhist philosophy and ideas, issued a lot of edicts, so which were carved out in the rock. So there are 33 edicts, including 14 major rock edicts, 7 pillar edicts. Educational centers. So apart from administration and developing the economy, both rural and urban, Mauryan Empire gave importance to education also. Monasteries and temples served the purpose of imparting education. Nalanda was a great monastery built by the Magadha Empire. So Nalanda was a great monastery built by the Mauryan Empire. Educational centers offered Buddhist and Vedic literature, logic, grammar, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy. In education centers, so they offer Buddhist and Vedic literature, logic, grammar, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy. Even the science of war was also taught. So apart from teaching Buddhist and Vedic literature, logic, grammar, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy, they taught the science of war. Nalanda became the most renowned seat of learning in course of time. So later Nalanda became the most famous place of learning. It was supported by the revenue of 100 villages. So Nalanda University was run with the help of the revenues collected from totally 100 villages. No fees were charged to the students and they were provided free board and lodging. So no fees were charged to the students. So because the students came from many foreign countries, especially from China and west of Asia. Yeah. So they were provided with free board, so free stay. Accommodation is free in Nalanda University during Mauryan Empire. Yeah. Because the Mauryan Empire gave 100 villages, so the revenue of 100 villages to run the Nalanda University. Yeah, so monasteries and temples served the purpose of imparting education. Nalanda was a great monastery built by the Magadha Empire. Educational centers offered Buddhist and Vedic literature, logic, grammar, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy. Even the science of war was also taught. Nalanda became the most renowned, so most well-known seat of learning in course of time. It was supported by the revenues, that is the tax income of 100 villages. No fees were charged to the students, and they were provided free board and lodging. Okay students, so today's class we discussed about the Mauryan Empire, state and society. So first we discussed how the Mauryan Empire was established. It was established by Chandragupta Maurya. Then he was succeeded by Bindusara. Then Bindusara was succeeded by the great Alexander. So Alexander initially he wanted to extend his empire, so he waged a war against Kalinga in his 8th year. But after seeing the war, he decided to give up the war and became the strong follower of Buddhism. So then we discussed about his edicts. Then Mauryan administration. So what type of administration was established by the Mauryan? So if you want to know about the Mauryan administration system means, then you have to read the Chandragupta's minister Chanakya book Arthasastra. It gave us a detailed account of the Mauryan administration. Arthasastra, one of the famous book, so which was written in the ancient India. So no other book can be compared with Arthasastra. So till now it was a well-versed book about administration. Okay students, so take your book and take page number 62. Textbook reading. So read the Mauryan administration. So read it fully. So it completed in page number 63. So today read the Mauryan administration as textbook reading. Then homework. So take page number 65. Fifth Roman letter. Fourth question, fifth question. Fourth, what does the edict of Kalinga convey? Take page number 62. Just near to that the Ashok pillar, Allahabad picture. So that paragraph fully. That is in one of his Kalinga edicts, he tells us his horror and sorrow of the death which the war and conquest caused. In yet another edict, he makes it known that Ashoka would not tolerate any longer the death or captivity of even hundredth or thousandth part of the number killed and made captive in Kalinga. So that is the answer for fourth question. Then fifth, highlight the steps taken by Ashoka to spread Buddhism. So take page number 61 and 62. 61. So the last line. Ashoka became an ardent Buddhist after meeting the Buddhist monk Upagupta and propounded his dharma. The only true conquest he proclaimed is the conquest of self and the conquest of men's heart by the Dhamma or Dharma. Then come to third paragraph. That is just below the question marked, fourth question marked paragraph is there now. So just below that paragraph. In that the fourth line, Ashoka sent his son Mahendra and his daughter Sangamitra to Ceylon to spread his message of Dharma there. So this is the answer for fifth question. So include this point also for fifth question. So write it in your homework note and read it well. So thank you. Have a nice day.